Hello, Linda Anousta.
Hello, Lilo.
Thank you for accepting this interview to speak about the cosmetics and what's really going on, because there's a lot of things that we don't really know and that you have found out, and you developed your own line of products. You're based in the UK. So it's exciting to get this information from a specialist. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you for asking.
So let's speak first of all those moisturizers and those creams and those body lotion that we put on our body, on our face every single day. What do we have to know about that?
I think probably the biggest eye-opener that most people do not realize is that when they come in, they quite often say to me here in the shop, I have tried everything. And what they mean is that they have tried usually a huge variety of products, all different names, different countries, etc., different products from different areas. And what I do is I ask them, if at all possible, to bring them in and we look at the back of the labels, because what we find is that 99.9% of the time, what is in those products is exactly the same. You know, there might be a slight alteration. One might be third in line, it might be fourth in line when you have those ingredients listed on the back. But at the end of the day, they nearly say the following thing in most cases. It's aqua, which is water. Well, how good and how pure and how filtered is the water is the first question. But the second thing is usually paraffin. So it may say liquidium paraffinum or paraffin or petrolatum. Clues in the word, petrolatum. These are not good things, and they're fantastic for machinery, and they're absolutely appalling for the skin. They choke the skin, they don't allow the skin to breathe, they don't allow it to detoxify, and as a result, people then start saying they're getting drier and drier skin. And I think the people that are formulating these, I think they know this, but I think, although this is going to sound extremely cynical, I think there's a reason that they put it in, because I'm sure that if you create a problem, you keep that person maybe coming back to buy more products, and then more products, and then more, and you keep them in the loop. And of course, people, mainly women, it has to be said, become more and more disillusioned because they say, oh, that product doesn't work, and I tried this, and that doesn't do what it says, and this is rubbish, and everything else. And they don't even realize that, let's say, for example, the moisturizer they're using is actually probably creating more problems than it's actually solving. Yeah. So liquid paraffin, petrolatum, paraffinum liquidium is certainly one thing to look out for on the ingredients, on the box, or on the product, and then just stay away from it.
Wow.
Doesn't help.
So we should really go for natural. I mean, you developed your own line, and what kind of product what do you put in yours that make it better, I guess, or?
Okay, well, I trained with a remarkable man called Colbian Borseth, who quite a few thousand people will know of by now, but he has given training courses probably for the best part of 12 or more years. A wonderful man, and I did a lot of training with him. And of course, he was teaching me and many other people, many thousands of people now, with how to use the oils that are there for us on the planet. I'm talking about the thistle oils, the jojoba, the avocado, there are so many beautiful oils there that we could use, that we could enjoy, and that not only can give people jobs harvesting these oils, etc., but that we can put into the products, and they're so beautiful on the skin. They do so much good. And why aren't we using them more? Why are we using, liquid paraffin? I think it's because it's cheap. It doesn't go rancid. And even with the war in Iraq, etc., you can still buy this at a relatively cheaper price than you would a good quality jojoba, castor oil, whatever. So I think they put it in because of those reasons, but it doesn't do the skin any favors.
I tried your products with my rosacea, and a lot of people that watching my videos heard about this, and so you have some specific lines for some specific skin issues.
And the thing that people come in more often than not with is just they say the dry skin, and women are particularly hard on themselves. They usually say it's to do with their age. They blame everything: their age, their hormones, their sex, their marriage, where they live. Everything is blamed, but rather than what they might be using. So we try and take people right back to the beginning and say, what is the cleanser? What is the soap you're using? What is the toner? What is the moisturizer? And what is the makeup? So when you have something like rosacea, how do you say it in French? Rosacea?
Oh, rosacea.
Rosacea. It sounds nice. That is normally considered to be a constant low-grade infection that usually is in this area, and hence with the sort of the low-grade infection that's taking place here, it then can spread out, and you can quite often get traditional sort of what they call butterfly marks here. It's utterly miserable for the people suffering it. It really is. And the standard treatment from the GPs is for antibiotics. Now, over the last sort of 2.5 years, since we've had the shop, I have dealt with quite a few hundred people who have had rosacea. And in all but 2 cases, we've had astonishing results. Yours was one that wasn't so astonishing, which is galling, to say the least. But I can only tell you what I've seen and what other people have presented to me with. And they've come in, and what we've said, we've started them on the cleanser. I actually now, following our dealings, I now give them the cleanser without the essential oils, because it seems even that little bit of essential oil can sometimes be a trigger. Yeah. So they have this essential oil which has jojoba and castor oils in it, which is very good for drawing and cleaning the skin at a deep level. Yeah. And then they just can rinse the face with a warm flannel. Don't put too much heat on that face because it can be quite uncomfortable. Yeah. Some people do like to use a toner. The French women are superb at toning their face. They understand the whole necessity about closing the pores down and making the pores smaller after you've cleaned and rinsed the skin. English women are not so good at it, unfortunately. And then we get to put the Silver Shield gel on, which is
that was good. That was awesome. But I've noticed that. Well, first tell us what's in that Silver Shield.
Well, I've known about colloidal silver for a long time, but as is always the way, when your mother introduces you to something, you don't always pay the attention you should. But Dr. Gordon Pedersen, who comes from the States, he came over to the UK in, I think it was January 2009, and he gave a talk. And I was so blown away by this talk. I followed him 2 days later up to Stratford-upon-Avon to listen to him talk again. And he's the formulator of this particular Silver Shield. And it is colloidal silver, but it's got a whole new patent. He's got a whole new new patent on it. I think it's 7135195, if I remember correctly. And he was explaining how the power of this silver has been forgotten by previous generations. Our current doctors, their grandfathers or even great-grandfathers would have used colloidal silver in some format. But in 1920, 1930, sulfur was discovered. And sulfur was then made into the antibiotics that we know about. And colloidal silver kind of fell off the shelf. It wasn't so popular. It sort of fell out of favor, really. And these new antibiotics were the thing. This was going to solve everything. This was going to kill everything. So it was like, yay, we've got antibiotics. So let's forget colloidal silver. That's rubbish. And of course, we know what's happened. We've given antibiotics to everybody for everything. They're not really working so much. Yeah. We have apparently one strain left to sort of fight off some of the big boys in the world of germs. And then I don't know really what we're going to do, but I do, because I've seen so many good results with this colloidal silver. It's, as you say, it is awesome.
So what is it for? What type of skin is that for?
It's for all sorts of things. I mean, again, when we're talking about rosacea, we have women come in and say, I'm close to tears, I'm fed up with this, I've had this rosacea for so long. And we do what we did with you, and 99.99% of the time, what happens is the cleanser works, it does its work, and then they put the gel on, and it's colloidal silver in a gel format. So instead of being in a liquid format, it's in this sort of, well, you've experienced it, but this gel.
Yeah.
And you can just put it over the face. You can apply it. With rosacea, you should apply it 3 to 4 times a day.
Oh, wow.
And when you do that, what it does is consistently attack that bacteria on the face and reduce. And I've had hundreds of women come in and say, look, and they're thrilled.
But it's not just for rosacea. Any woman can put that on to kill that bacteria that we all have anyway on our skin. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, absolutely. You can put it in places we won't even talk about. And
really?
Absolutely. You could put it on your hands. If only the nurses were putting it on their hands rather than the gels that they're using in the hospitals, we wouldn't have half the nurses with really sore, dry hands from the alcohol wipes that they're using or the alcohol squirts that they have outside each bay. Certainly in the UK. I don't know about the States. If you have urinary tract infection.
I'm going to get some more of that gel now. You got me thinking with your... I'll talk about this right now.
If you have a urinary tract infection, not you personally, but if somebody had a urinary tract infection, it's absolutely superb for that. And the amount that you need depends on how long you've had the infection. So obviously, if you've just kicked off with cystitis or some infection somehow, then you probably would need 2, maybe 3 bottles, and that should kill that infection outright. But you don't have any side effects with silver. Because it's natural and it is like nature's own antibiotic, there aren't any side effects. So you don't feel ill, you don't feel wiped out, you're not destroying your bowel flora, you're not eroding, important cells that line the bowel wall. So that's the great thing about it. It doesn't, what is the term, contraindicate the use with the pill, because women who are on the pill are told to be very careful if antibiotics, for obvious reasons. So it doesn't have any of that problem at all, which is just...
So how about water? When we rinse our face with water and with soap, because I've noticed that by cutting just that, for me the cleanser didn't work, because I've noticed that my skin gets worse and rosacea gets worse with the water and rinsing it, and the best is just with a cotton or something. But what happens for most women, rosacea or not, when we splash our face with water and regular soap?
Now you're starting. The regular soap that you're talking about, again, I've just got a couple here, so I'm just going to grab something. No names, of course, but your regular soap kind of will look something like this, just a bar of soap. It is tallow. So tallow is cow fat. So most people who are using soap are just using cow fat and smearing it around their body.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, lovely. It's usually whitened. Sometimes they'll use a very finely ground metal called titanium dioxide, and that will make it very white. And of course, you can use colours if you don't want white. And then you can put perfume in it. In the EU, we call it parfum. And if you put that into, sort of a, let's put it in camera, a bar like that, really it's something and nothing. You may psychologically feel that you're cleaning your skin, putting something on your skin and then washing something off, but it in actual fact is not doing a whole heap of good. And this is one of the reasons why so many women say, and men increasingly, I have to say my skin is dry, my skin is really taut. Ever had that feeling when you've used a soap and your skin feels like it's just had a facelift? Yes. I don't make soap. It's a real skill, but we do know a lady, thank goodness, who she makes these. These are bars.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
They are like bars of oil. The list is enormous on the back of the oils that she has within them. And we've had babies from babies from the moment they're born to quite old people, sort of in their 80s, etc., who've used this. And as long as they can talk, they nearly always tell us, this is good, this is not like any other soap. And I wish I could say it was me that made them, but I don't. A very clever lady I know called Hasina makes them, and she's very talented. She's superb.
So what do you do then? What do you create? What's your specialty?
I think the things that I get the biggest feedback on, in the main, are, well, Hasina soaps are one, but obviously I don't make those, would be the shampoo. We get really good results with the people using the shampoo. I don't know if you want me to go down that route and talk about shampoo or not, but
tell us a little bit what's wrong with the regular shampoo. We're gonna freak out. We're gonna.
Oh, brace yourself.
Yeah.
Well, you can find this. You can find this on the net. It's not rocket science. It's out there, and there's a lot of propaganda and a lot of misinformation going on. A lot of people who don't want you to know some of the chemicals that are being used. I did actually find something, and I do have to don the glasses for this just to inform you about this, but something on Dr. McCullough's site I saw the other day, and it said currently there are estimated to be more than 10,500 cosmetic and personal care products in North America alone, in the North American market. Of those products, the Environmental Working Group estimates that 99% of the products contain one or more ingredients that have never been evaluated for safety. Interesting.
Yeah, the challenge is that there's so many of them in small quantity, isn't it? That then you can't actually say that it's nocif, or how do you say in English, that it's bad.
Yeah.
But it is, right? Is that the trick?
Some of the chemicals they know are not good in their own right because they cause problems. They know this because they put countless animals through countless amount of suffering to prove the fact that it will cause sores or break down the skin or cause digestive problems or whatever. All that aside, that might prove about one chemical. So what happens if you have this chemical fighting with this chemical and then introduce a third, and then what happens? Nobody knows. This is why I'm saying it is a chemical soup out there. And people say, oh, well, you know, what can I do? What can I do about it? They can start with their personal skincare. They can use soaps without triclosan in it, which is a very horrible chemical and isn't required at all. They can use soaps made with oils. They can stop using liquid paraffin in their cleansers, their soaps sometimes, in their hair products. But I deviate. You said, what do I like the most? I'm really pleased with the shampoo. I do like the cleanser, and I make a Rose Otto moisturizer, and I pay a fortune for the Bulgarian Rose Otto that I get, and that is gorgeous. That is divine. That has vitamin E and A in it, and that's a beauty. So I'm very pleased with those. But you know, I like them all. I like the shower gels. I think the greatest kick I get is helping people who have eczema.
Oh yeah.
We deal with a lot of people with, you know, really bad eczema skin, and that's I like to work with them if I can, so that we actually form, we co-create. Let's use your word. We co-create, and we work together. And as long as they want the result that I want for them as well, then that's a real pleasure.
Well, I love your passion about this, and it definitely feels like this is your soul's mission. You know, this is what you were born to do, and you're doing this with passion. And so, what's next? I mean, how are you continuously creating new products?
No, I got to the point when I think I got to about 23 products or thereabouts, but I've expanded in one other way. We now have a mineral makeup because I realised, not that I hesitate to add, I realised that we were sorting out quite a few problems for people over the last 10.5 years. And then they were going away and they were getting, I won't mention names, but, you know, very well-known makeup. And then they looked at the makeup and they didn't realise, because they didn't know what the words meant, what they were doing to their skin. So we'd get their skin sorted to a degree, sometimes 100%. They were happy, and then they'd go out and they'd buy a liquid paraffin-based moisturizer, or more to the point, a makeup like a foundation. Yeah. And then so it'd be like 2 steps forward and 1 step back. And so I've reneged after 10.5 years, and I've decided, okay, let's do the mineral makeup. So we have that, which is very popular, and we also do Daniel Field hair colours, which we love, and women who just don't want to know what colour hair they've got actually just are very happy to use a non-peroxide, non-ammonia hair color. So we're very pleased about those.
So can you tell us about just briefly about the evolution of how, the smell? Like, there are a lot of people think that those kind of products have a bad smell, or, as soon as it's organic and natural, it's just not very, it's more repellent than anything. How did that change? What are you doing?
I've not actually heard that.
That's French women say, that's in France. I interviewed this lady that had written cosmetic books, organic cosmetic, that just compared, and a lot of people have this thing.
I think I know where you're coming from. So let's just see if I've got this right. A lot of the perfumes, a lot of the smells that are in products are perfume based. Unfortunately, commercial perfume is based on a byproduct of petroleum yet again. So what you have is the byproduct of petroleum products which can be used as the base, but that in itself can have up to 400 toxic ingredients in it. So that's not very good. And as an example, a lady who came in today, she said, I've just had a light bulb switched on in my head. She said, I've suddenly become aware that there's no point eating organic foods and whatever. She said, I'm just putting rubbish on my skin, and I've just suddenly realized. So we spent some time talking to her, and I had to step back from her because the perfume she was wearing was so strong, it was taking my breath away, quite literally. And I said to her in the end, I'm really not being rude, but I'm finding your perfume so strong, I can't stand too close to you. So she said, I put that on this morning, and it was really overpowering. And I said, well, that's one of the things you might want to look at, because when you actually go into the net and you look and it says, toxicology of perfumes or toxic perfumes, you'll see the list of things that it causes, like the itchy eyes, the itchy nose, etc. I could go on and on, but the perfumes in products can cause problems. And of course, these women and men go off to their GP saying, I have permanently itchy eyes, or my nose is always running, or I have sinusitis. But again, I don't think the GPs tend to look at, well, what are you putting on your face every day?
Yeah. So it's probably better to go for a more natural product with less smell and less of all this toxicity.
It doesn't mean less smell. I mean, I have 2 shower gels, and one is frankincense and orange, and that is quite subtle. But I have another one which is lime and verbena, and that blows your head off. I mean, it's just really punchy wake-up smell. If you need waking up in the morning, that's the one to go for. So the products smell very strong, especially that rose moisturizer I was telling you about. Other products are scented. I mean, I spent ages mixing different products with different essential oils, and so it isn't just, I'll just use a bit of this and a bit of that, and you also need to know what the essential oils are for, what they do, how do they work on you physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. So it's a lot in it.